In this video, we are going to cover the final steps required in upgrading your tank system from the 3-sensor level tank system to the much more accurate sea level tank system. Please keep in mind that the steps in this video are to be performed after the sea level hardware has been installed on your tanks. You'd want to have those installed by either a qualified or approved service center, your dealership, or if you as an individual decide to install the system yourself, you'd want to make sure all those items are completed before moving on to the steps outlined in this video. Here we are at the water bay in a Tiffin Allegro bus, and currently there is a sea level system installed. This unit comes with a sea level system installed at the factory. But during the upgrade, and if the motorhome had or was pre-wired for an RVC cable to this location, then you'd want to plug in that RVC cable to the sea level tank monitor here. If the unit was not pre-wired to have an RVC cable going to this location, then you'll want to follow the steps following as to how to install a RVC cable and run it to this location here. So I'm currently in the bay just forward of the water bay where all the tanks are, and I've located a wiring bundle that has a few RVC cables running the length of the motorhome. Now in this unit, we observe that the manufacturer has printed on the cable RVC, and there's a location there as well as to where this goes. So I'm going to want to use this cable to jumper and connect my sea level system onto the Spyder system. So once we've verified that we have the battery disconnect switch turned off and there's no power to the house of the motorhome, we're going to locate the RVC cable that we want to splice in the cable to run to the sea level system. So here I've selected an RVC cable that I'd like to use. So I'm going to cut this cable right there. Then I'm going to remove the jacket about an inch to expose the 4 wires on the inside. So here I've got the jacket removed, and you'll notice you have to remove a little bit of the insulation to expose the wires. Now here are the wires. You want to be very, very careful and note that when you're removing the jacket, you do not cut deep enough to cut into the jacket of these 4 wires. That is very, very critical, because if any of these wires become bare and touch each other, they can create a short and cause extreme network issues throughout the motorhome. So it's very, very important that you do not cut deep enough that the cut would affect these 4 wires. The next step is to lay these wires in the correct order. So ordering is you'll go black, blue, white, and then red, and you want to position them flat against each other like that, and then with a very sharp cutter, wire cutter, you want to snip these ends flush. Now that you've trimmed the edges of the 4 wires flush, you want to use one of the mini clamp connectors here that was included in the kit and install that connector. So with the clear side here, you'll notice the position or the orientation that the wires need to go in. So you've got the red wire closest to where the clip is here. So you just insert the wires and make sure they're all the way flushed against the back of the connector. And then with a pair of pliers, you're going to crimp down on the connector. Really give it a good strong crimp. And once you've verified that the connector is crimped all the way flush, then you want to proceed to the other end of the cable and perform the same action on that side. So now that you have both ends of the cable that you cut terminated with mini clamp connectors, you're going to plug those each end of those connectors into this Spyder G4 common drop tap. So you plug one end in there, plug the other end like that, and this is basically a hub that connects anything you plug into it to each other. This is going to allow us now to plug in the cable that is going to run to the sea level tank monitor system. And here I've got the cable that I will run to my sea level tank monitor, and I'm going to now plug it in to this drop tap hub like so. And now all that's left for me to do is plug this into the sea level monitor on the other end. After performing this function, it is important that you go to various Spyder components such as the touchscreen and or the G6 panel in the closet of the motorhome, or the G6 panel that is located in the front driver's electrical bay, and you want to observe the net LED status of these components and make sure that the net LED is fully green, solid green, not flashing green or not flashing red green or red orange or any of that flavor, just to ensure that the work you've done here is not causing any network errors throughout the Spyder network. To wrap up the work that you've done to the wiring here in the bay, we recommend tying up the Spyder G4 Common and securing it to this wiring bundle, just to prevent the chance of anything that's being pushed in and out of the bay from catching onto this and damaging it, which could cause network issues on the Spyder network. So now that you've completed the steps of tying in the sea level system to the Spyder network via the RVC cable, now we need to configure the Spyder system to appropriately display the tank readings coming from sea level system. In the kit that you received from Spyder, you would have received one of these. This is a Spyder programming switch panel that allows you to perform programming functions to different components on the Spyder network. In this case, it will be used to configure the Spyder system to display the tank readings from sea level appropriately. So right now I'm in the rear closet of a motorhome, and we have a Spyder control panel back here. Now on the Spyder control panel, if you observe to the lower right corner of the panel, there's a port that is indicated as a net port. Now on that panel, that net port allows you to plug in different devices such as the switch panel. So you want to go ahead and plug in the switch panel to the port that says net port, and you'll notice once you plug it all the way in, you'll hear an audible click, and that indicates that the switch panel is all the way plugged in. Then you want to observe on the programmer switch panel that this LED is solid green like this. Now on this panel you've got four different buttons here, and if you follow the instructions included within the packet, just follow those instructions on which button to press to push the proper config onto the Spider network. After you've pressed the button and updated the Spider system, then you can go and observe on your Spider LCD screen the tank readings being sent over the network from the sea level system.